A new vulnerability has been flagged by the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, raising concerns for users of OSGeo GeoServer. This flaw, identified as CV 2025-58360, poses significant risks due to evidence of active exploitation. On December 12, 2025, CISA added this high-severity XML External Entity (XXE) vulnerability to its known exploited vulnerabilities catalog. It affects all versions of GeoServer up to and including 2.25.5, as well as versions 2.26.0 through 2.26.1. The issue has been acknowledged by the AI-powered platform XBOW, which helped in its discovery. Next, we'll dive into the specifics of the vulnerability, its potential impacts, and the recommended actions for users to secure their systems. If you find this update helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to InfoSec Now for the latest cybersecurity news. Your support really helps us continue building useful content for cybersecurity professionals. If you found this update helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to InfoSec Now for the latest cybersecurity news. Your support really helps us continue building useful content for cybersecurity professionals. On December 12, 2025, CISA's inclusion of CV 2025-58360 in its known exploited vulnerabilities catalog marks a critical moment in the cybersecurity landscape for users of OSGeo GeoServer. This vulnerability, with a CVSS score of 8.2, is classified as a high-severity XML External Entity (XXE) flaw, affecting all versions up to and including 2.25.5, as well as specific versions from 2.26.0 to 2.26.1. The nature of this vulnerability allows attackers to exploit the application through the /geoserver/WMS operation getMap, potentially leading to unauthorized access to sensitive files and interactions with internal systems. The vulnerability's implications extend beyond mere data exposure. It could facilitate server-side request forgery, SSRF, attacks, or even denial of service, DOS, scenarios exhausting server resources and incapacitating services. The prompt response from the OSGeo community is evident in the release of patched versions, including 2.25.6, 2.26.2, and subsequent updates through 2.28.1, which are critical for mitigating the risks associated with this vulnerability. The acknowledgement of XBOW, an AI-powered platform, for reporting the issue highlights the increasing role of advanced technologies in vulnerability detection. Despite the urgency of the situation, specific details regarding the methods of exploitation in active attacks remain scarce. However, a bulletin from the Canadian Centre for Cybersecurity, dated November 28, 2025, confirmed that exploits for this vulnerability are indeed being utilized in real-world scenarios. This ongoing threat underscores the importance of timely updates and vigilance among users, particularly as federal agencies have been advised to implement necessary fixes by January 1, 2026, to safeguard their systems against potential breaches. The exploitation of the CV 2025-58360 vulnerability has raised significant alarm within the cybersecurity community, particularly due to its potential impact on data integrity and system security. As organizations increasingly rely on open-source software like OSGeo GeoServer for critical operations, the ramifications of such vulnerabilities become more pronounced. Attackers exploiting this XXE flaw could gain unauthorized access to sensitive files, potentially exposing confidential data and undermining user trust. The ability to conduct server-side request forgery, SSRF, attacks further complicates the issue, as this could enable attackers to interact with internal systems, bypassing traditional security measures and leading to broader network compromises. Moreover, the risk of denial of service, DOS, attacks associated with this vulnerability poses a threat to service availability. By exhausting server resources, attackers can disrupt operations, affecting not only the targeted organizations but also their clients and partners who rely on uninterrupted service. The acknowledgement of this vulnerability by CISA and its inclusion in the KEV catalog underscore the urgency for organizations to prioritize timely updates and patches. With the deadline for federal agencies to implement these fixes set for January 1, 2026, the pressure is on for organizations to act swiftly to mitigate potential risks. Additionally, the existence of another critical flaw in the same software, CV 2024-36401, highlights a concerning trend of multiple vulnerabilities impacting GeoServer. This situation raises questions about the overall security posture of open-source software and the need for comprehensive vulnerability management strategies. In summary, the consequences of the exploited vulnerability extend beyond immediate technical challenges, posing risks to data security, operational continuity, and organizational reputation. As the situation evolves, stakeholders must remain vigilant and proactive in addressing these vulnerabilities to safeguard their systems and data. As organizations and users navigate the implications of the newly identified vulnerability in GeoServer, immediate action is critical. First and foremost, users must ensure that they are operating on the latest versions of GeoServer, specifically 2.25.6, 2.26.2, 2.27.0, 2.28.0, or 2.28.1, where the vulnerability has been patched. This proactive measure is essential to mitigate the risk of exploitation. Organizations should prioritize conducting a thorough assessment of their systems to identify any instances of the affected versions. This includes scrutinizing both production and development environments, as the vulnerability could be present in any deployment. Additionally, it is advisable to review security policies and incident response plans to ensure they are equipped to handle potential breaches stemming from this vulnerability. Training staff on the nature of the CV 2025-58360 vulnerability is also crucial. Awareness programs can help teams recognize the signs of exploitation and understand the importance of adhering to security protocols. Furthermore, organizations should consider implementing enhanced monitoring solutions to detect unusual activity that could indicate an attempted breach. In light of the active exploitation reported by CISA, collaboration with cybersecurity firms or leveraging threat intelligence services may provide organizations with insights into emerging threats and attack vectors. Engaging with the cybersecurity community can foster a shared understanding of best practices and response strategies. Lastly, organizations are encouraged to stay informed about updates from CISA and other cybersecurity authorities. Regularly checking the known exploited vulnerabilities catalog can help organizations remain vigilant against evolving threats and ensure compliance with federal recommendations, especially for federal civilian executive branch agencies, which face a deadline to apply fixes by January 1, 2026. If you found this update helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to InfoSec Now for the latest cybersecurity news. Your support really helps us continue building useful content for cybersecurity professionals.